Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
It's from Milton. Paradise Lost.
All right, I'm confused.
It means that this is beginning.
Welcome to Till Death Do Us Scream. Of course, Rob, and this is my lovely Tracy Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow's head, Mayhem Mel. Actually, Miss Melody here was inspired by Gwyneth Paltrow's Halloween costume in 2017, which was pretty fantastic. But hers is obviously a lot more gory.
Including the
the bloody neck. Well, again, thank you for your continued love and support when it comes to the channel. Jesus, we have to say thank you to a bunch of people now. 15,000
views on our last episode. Wow.
15,000 views on our last episode. And again, it's basically
you guys came out hard. Thank you.
People really love the Hellraiser episode, and because of that, things just opened up for the channel, and God, we are so grateful for that. So just keep it going. Like, subscribe, do all the things.
Do the things.
We love doing this, and if we're successful, then we're successful. If not, then we're not. We absolutely love doing it. But hey, if we can build a little army here, that'd be awesome.
That'd be totally cool, man.
And we appreciate you all for it. Great pre-birthday present. I turn 47 tomorrow, so it's definitely definitely love seeing that.
Funny story, we thought he was turning 48.
No, the funny story is I thought I was 48, and my mother told me, no, you're wrong, you're actually 47. So I was surprised to hear that I had another year of life that I wasn't even paying attention to. I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, so babe, with that, what movie, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary, are we talking about tonight?
God, this movie came out in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in the theaters
Sure.
in Hawaii when I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
This is Se7en.
Yes.
It was a very young Brad Pitt,
Mm-hmm.
and it also had Morgan Freeman in
Yep.
it. Two very fantastic actors.
Yeah.
Also had a very young Gwyneth Paltrow in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to get into that.
And he who should not be named.
No, he's going to be named, unfortunately. Listen, the fact of the matter is that if you're going to talk about this movie, you're going to unfortunately have to separate art from the artist. And however you feel about Mr. Kevin Spacey, he was one of the greatest actors of our time. There was no question about that.
And he did do a very good job.
And he was absolutely killer as Mr. John Doe. So, I mean, there's really, this is what we're talking about. We have to mention him. I was still in school when Se7en came out.
I know. I like him young.
I was still in school, and I saw this in the theater with a few of my friends, and I absolutely, just another theatrical experience that I absolutely loved.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike other films that didn't have that capacity or propensity to scare me, I was up for a week after one particular scene that we'll get into later.
Right?
But yeah, it really, really traumatized me.
I went to the theaters by myself.
Mm.
I saw this movie by myself.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yes. And you know what? The funny thing is, I think there was only 2 or 3 other people in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But that we had mentioned this gentleman before, Mr. Rob Bottin of The Thing. He had actually done the effects for this movie, and they're all practical.
Yeah, and you know what?
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hours and hours worth of work to make people bloated, decaying, zombie-like, cutting noses off, all that. It all looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah. This movie holds true to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously fashion changes.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to the effects,
and careers change too, because like you said, I mean, the majority of these guys were very young when this came out.
Very young, yeah, and they're like huge now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the origins of Seven. The writer is named Andrew Kevin Walker. He had written this when he was actually working at Tower Records, believe it or not. He's working on the spec script for it. He had moved to New York from suburban Pennsylvania, was completely disillusioned and terrified and just, did not care for the experience at all. That's why the story actually has an unnamed city, but it's just drenched in rain the entire time to, just see, to basically signify that sin is just permeating everywhere. That sin and that temptation.
Supposed to represent Chicago or New York or
pretty much any city, any
LA,
major city.
yeah.
Yes, it was filmed in LA, parts of it, many parts of it, but yeah, the city was unnamed in the movie, if you remember.
Yeah.
And that was just to kind of signify that his feeling where all cities were like this, so it didn't really matter.
Right.
So
all big cities.
Sure,
yeah.
And it just dark and dreary, and it just had just sin and temptation and violence around every corner. And so David Fincher, who had actually been known as a music video director at the time, he'd done Vogue for Madonna.
Oh wow, okay.
The only feature film he'd ever done was Alien 3.
Oh wow.
Which was, as much as I enjoyed it, it was a box office and critical failure. It was absolutely just hated across the board.
That's so sad.
So when they asked Fincher to do another movie, he said, "I'd rather put cigarettes out of my eyes than go through that experience again." So Fincher was a young man during this time too, because he'd never done a featured film except for one. He'd actually unearthed this script somehow and gotten to him. He wasn't the director that's supposed to be getting it. I think one of the original directors was going to be Guillermo del Toro. They were looking at.
Okay.
He was very early in his career as well. But he had the aesthetic eye for it, so they went for him. But Fincher saw the script, and he's just like, look, he goes, I absolutely love it, but, and this is pretty much the consensus for a lot of people, when it came to film, the ending has to stay the same from the script. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Because originally the studios just wanted, this heroic, situation with Mills, rescuing his wife and killing John Doe and happily ever after and all that stuff. And Fincher was just like, no way, I won't do it.
Nope.
It needs to stay as bleak as it is in the script. He had to actually convince the studio heads that they weren't going to show the reveal in terms of an effect, which, we'll just say it now, was Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
In a box.
In a box. And they ended up using that prosthetic in a film called Contagion many, many years later.
But they don't actually show it in the movie. They don't show the head in the box.
That was this thing that producers were guaranteed that wouldn't be revealed. And Fincher was just like, you know what? Well, it makes more sense to not show it.
And for many, many years,
mm-hmm.
I thought it was the fetus.
Yeah.
I thought it was the baby. I didn't realize it was the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to keep watching it to remind me that in the end he says, I was so envious of you, I had to take her pretty little head.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, shit.
Well, originally in the script, it was going to be they were thinking about the fetus. They were thinking about even one of Mill's dog's heads.
Oh, wow.
And they knew that wouldn't go over. That would go over like a lead balloon. Actually, more so than the Gwyneth Paltrow head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People like, you killed a dog in this movie. A lot of people had turned down this movie because they said it was the most mean-spirited, most horrible thing they've ever read in their lives. It's really just too bleak.
It is intense.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is very bleak.
So let's look at the list of people that have turned this down. There was Al Pacino.
Okay.
let's see. It was Gene Hackman, the late Gene Hackman.
Okay.
There's a lot of big names that turned this down just because they looked at it and they were just like, "This is too much. This is crazy."
And you know what? For the time, it was way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say now it wouldn't be considered too much, but back in '95, yeah, this was.
I think it still holds up in its ghoulishness.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The opening is considered one of the greatest openings of all time.
Oh,
It's because the idea was, and again, this is another, like, Nine Inch Nails as a band were still very young.
Yeah.
Like Closer was a hit, was a hit album for them, or Downward Spiral was a hit album for them.
It had just come out.
It just come out.
Yeah.
So Trent Reznor wasn't doing like, scores and movie scores and stuff like he was back then.
No,
he
was still new, just kind of like Marilyn Manson was still new.
Sure,
you know
of
what
course.
I mean?
It was all taboo. Nine Inch Nails was taboo. This movie was taboo. The opening credits were just supposed to showcase like how workaday John Doe's life is. Like he's drinking tea, but at the same time he's like putting his scrapbook together and cutting off his fingertips like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just another moment in time. It doesn't really affect him at all.
As he stated in the movie, I don't matter.
Yes.
Because it wasn't about him.
Right. There were supposed to be a lot of similarities between Somerset and Doe as well. The fact that they're loners. They both feel disillusioned. Morgan Freeman's character, is supposed to be the one that is so, like offset from everything. Like he's just sick of it all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I just want to hang it up.
He's like, I just want to retire. Okay.
Right.
I just want to retire. I just want to be done with this. People suck.
And Mills is kind of like this. Yeah. Mills is kind of like the loud-mouthed golden retriever.
Oh, he's obnoxious.
You know what I mean?
He's obnoxious.
Yeah. He has potential, but he's not.
He is so obnoxious. He's like I remember once you told me a couple years ago that Brad Pitt's character in this movie was kind of a douchebag. And I was like, no, he wasn't. He was just young. And I watched it again. I was like, yeah, no, he was a douchebag.
I just think, well, the thing is with him, like I said, I think that he has potential. Clearly he had done something heroic with his last precinct, like wherever suburb they came from.
Yeah.
So he does have the ability.
He wanted the position. He had told his wife, like him and his wife were like high school sweethearts. They were in a small town.
Right.
He wanted to go to the big city to make a big name for himself. You know what I mean? Like they were country folk.
Sure.
That want to go to the city.
And that was supposed to, like basically showcase how the screenwriter felt about the city too. Especially Gwyneth Paltrow's character, because the whole thing is like, Tracy and Mills, like he's just so gung-ho about the idea of becoming a cop that has more, prestige and pastiche, right? So he'll live in a shitty apartment, like that has a train above it. You know what I mean? Where it just
goes, train that goes by like every 15 freaking minutes.
Yes. Yeah. Where their apartment shakes and stuff. He's not thinking about that stuff. He's thinking about his career, and to a certain extent, I think he's not really thinking about his wife and
how she's the one that's going to be there in the house while he's off working. How is this going to affect her and the dogs? Yeah, they're dogs.
So even though he did love her, it was like there's also some
selfish.
Yeah, it's very selfish, right? So I guess that would make it easier for John Doe to kind of infiltrate that whole thing and be like, I'm really going to throw a mirror in front of your face when it comes to this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, before we get into the story, like I said, it was a hit movie. It was a sleeper hit for that year. I think it was the 7th highest grossing movie of that year of the year it came out.
I believe that.
It just really surprised people, and now it's considered one of the greatest films ever made. And I agree. We're talking about some good films later. I'm sorry. We'll eventually get into trash at some point.
Right. Oh, just let me pick a few movies out. We'll talk about trash. Don't worry.
So, babe, with that, we enter the decay and the sickness of the city of the Se7en world. Where does this story begin?
So it starts off with a young cop in his wife moving into the city, obviously, and you start off with this older black gentleman. He's getting up. He's very methodic in how he, places everything, and he's getting ready to go into work. Obviously, he's getting ready to do a handover because he has like a week before he's retiring.
Yes.
And, he goes into the office and, they're talking about the whole trade-off thing and they get a call.
Well, that's the other thing I want to mention too, is that they were so dead-eyed focused on these two characters not mirroring like Lethal Weapon or something like that. You know what I mean? They were worried that, like if they had a black actor with a young white actor, it would just kind of mirror that kind of thing, like that buddy cop thing.
Right.
And it does. There's some really great moments between them where they really connect with each other and stuff. But it's not, it's not your typical thing. It just, like the humanity, all the humanity within the movie just works so well, because it's just like, it's one of those moments, where instead it's focused on being funny for the sake of being funny. It just gives you a chance to breathe.
Yeah.
Because this fucking movie never lets up.
No, it really doesn't. Well, it starts off with, Morgan Freeman's character shows up to this place, and this young cop comes up with coffee to hand him, and he's like, I don't drink that. So he Brad Pitt's character puts the coffee down. They go into this place. Okay, I'm gonna take the box off.
Yeah, take the box off.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Sorry, y'all. Oh man.
She'll put the box on when Gwyneth Paltrow comes back in the play.
So they go into this apartment. It's very dark. It's very dingy, and there's this really big, obese guy just face down in a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously Morgan Freeman's character is being, he's paying attention. He's trying not to touch anything and to disturb the scene. And
by the way, this actor's makeup started at 5 a.m. so they could be ready at 8 p.m.
Jesus, I believe it. It was a lot. Yeah. And Brad Pitt's character is like, he's just being loudmouth and just talking and yapping. You can see Morgan Freeman.
He's a blowhard. Yeah, he was a jock.
Oh my god. So annoying. So
he was probably like, if I had to take a guess, he was just like so popular where he came from. You know what I mean?
Probably, yeah.
Like just the jockey, like super popular dude, and
he was the quarterback.
Yeah, and here he's just, no, you know what I mean? He's just a fixture. He's just a
loudmouth punk that's getting in the way and messing with the crime scene. Okay. So obviously
this is the gluttony crime scene.
Yeah,
too.
This is the gluttony one. And then Morgan Freeman just sends him out to go knock on doors. So he's like, you know what? I need you to go take care of this.
Yeah.
And then, while he's talking to another guy, they see that they pull the fridge away.
What happened was they'd seen that there was actually like pieces of the tile
in the vomit in the bucket underneath, and he pulls the fridge away, and they see gluttony written on there, and then
so he was feeding him basically to the point where he was getting ready to burst.
Yeah,
and according to the autopsy, was that the killer ended up kicking him. So his stomach would explode.
Stomach would explode. Yeah, they're in the autopsy room, checking out to find out what's going on. And Morgan Freeman's character looks and he says, "I cannot work this. I'm done in a week. Yeah. I cannot work this." And he's telling his chief, "I cannot work this.
You got nobody else that can do it."
And then, of course, the young pup over there is like, I'll do it. And Morgan Freeman's character's like, yeah, no, not for his first one. No.
Yeah.
So they get another call in, and Brad Pitt's character is taking the lead on this one, and they're in a law office. And this guy literally had a whole, cut off a pound of flesh off of himself.
Pound of flesh, no more, no less.
Yeah, and this is for greed.
Right.
At this point, they realize they have a serial
But the
killer.
idea stemmed from the story of the Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they realize at this point they're dealing with a serial killer, and there's going to be 7 killed.
Sure, there's going to be
in total.
There's going to be some religious, undertones within everything. Now, I do want to mention this too. Like when it comes to the set design, even with the with the gluttony guy, supposedly, like from what I've read, like even with the soup cans and stuff, it's supposed to all resemble kind of like art.
Yeah.
Like like Andy Warhol's, like Campbell soup can and stuff.
Yeah.
There is the one crime scene where the picture's inverted. So only a scholar, somebody who actually knows about art, would know to flip that around.
Right.
You know what I mean? To figure it out.
Right. And that was when they had talked to the victim's wife. She said, "Oh, the picture's upside down." That's when they had the idea to take the picture down, and they peeled off the back.
So everything that John Doe does is artistic, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's intelligent.
Yeah.
He's highly intelligent. He's extremely vicious. He's extremely religious.
Calculated.
Very calculated.
Yes.
At that point, you're getting blood all over your hands.
Uh-oh.
Let me put my box back on. Keep breaking my box. Where am I going to put my head if you break it? But at this point, my character,
Tracy,
calls Morgan Freeman's character, and she's like, "Hey, come over for dinner." So, and he looks at Brad Pitt. He's like, "Oh, yes, I'm coming over for dinner." And that's when they get to know each other a little bit better. They're hanging out, and that's when they really start to get into talking about the whole the 7 deadly sins, and then they say the library. This guy's a book nerd.
Yeah.
Library. Yeah. That's when they go to the library, and that's when they find the 3rd victim.
Yes. So Tracy is just trying to get these two together because, even though they are getting along, she wants to break the division completely. That's how much of a caring woman she is. That I will take even my discomfort. Like, I don't want to be here, but I'm going to make your job easier for you.
Yeah.
So you can become more friendly with your partner. That is, that's kind of person
it's not even a partner. It's going to be a trade-off.
She's the saint of this movie.
He's taking over.
Yeah.
His position. It's that whole dinner. It brings them together. You get to know a bit more of their characters, and that's when they're starting to actually figuring stuff out. And that's when they realize that
and there's something in Somerset that she sees, useful for later. Because she doesn't have family within the city.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when the guys realize, we the 7 deadly sins, and that's when they start looking through library records, and they find the 3rd. That's when they find the 3rd.
Morgan Freeman's like the astute one. He's almost like the Sherlock Holmes of the you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. Very experienced, very skilled. Where Brad Pitt's character is more of the hothead.
He's just blustery.
Yeah, he's young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they end up going to this other guy's house, and they find this. They walk into this apartment, and there's these little trees, air freshener trees, hanging up all over the ceiling. There's this guy tied down on the bed that looks like a freaking corpse.
Yeah, this is like the Silence of the Lambs moment too.
Right. And that's when you realize this was Sloth.
So originally what happens is they go to, there's another crime scene they go to with the lawyer, right? And
we already talked about that one.
I'm just saying that's where they find the clues for this Sloth guy.
The Sloth guy was somebody that the lawyer had gotten off. He was a criminal.
He's a pederast. He's a disgusting guy,
He's a pederast. So then you find out this guy's still alive. There's a moment where he's like
by the way, this makeup Rob Boutin and his team took 15 hours to do.
I believe it. I believe it. It was, oh my god, it was so good.
So so this is Silence of the Lambs moment, meaning the whole SWAT team's there. It's just very tense. They go into this room. They see all these air fresheners hanging up. Actually, this place was so bad. Here's a funny thing. So they had to take a bunch of real needles and used condoms and throw them out of the set to put prop needles and use fake use condoms and air fresheners on the set. That's how dirty this place was that they used.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, they could have just used the real ones, but I mean, legality purposes. You know what I mean?
So they're going slowly towards this guy. They find a book, and it shows the process of he's been starved for a year by John Doe.
For a year. You know what I mean? And then they find out that the rent had always been paid in time in cash. Mm-hmm. So the guy that the serial killer is doing that, he's been planning this whole thing.
And this is the thing that kept me up for a week.
For a while.
Because John C. McGinley's character from Scrubs, he does a supporting, part as one of the SWAT guys. And by the way, was not told that this is going to happen. So he'd get the real effect. And he turns around the character and goes, and a bunch of dust comes out of his mouth, and he looks like a zombie, and it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And everybody's just screaming, "He's alive! He's alive!"
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he's alive!
Yeah.
Just awesome.
Yeah. And then I think at this point is when
then there's another thing we should mention too, because I've seen this movie 20 times by this point, 25, 30 times. There's always a reporter that's stuck in his nose into their business.
Yes.
And you don't know until the end of the movie, but they had John Doe in front of the entire time.
They come downstairs and there's a reporter there, and obviously Brad Pitt's character is like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
He punches him in the nose.
Breaks his nose. You know what I mean? And Morgan Freeman's like, "Yeah, they pay us somebody in the department very well to get this information." Because he's like, "How do they even know? We just got here. How do they even know?"
This is the first time I actually heard about this, though. But apparently, obviously it's a lot more high tech now, but you could actually see what kind of library books people were taking out and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's how you can get a feel of, if you're searching for somebody in particular, you can get these, clues off of, the Dewey, off of, library, cards and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's certain books that get flagged that if you're taking out certain books.
Right.
In a certain order, you get flagged on an FBI list.
So Brad Pitt goes, "Hey, you got any money?" And they end up hiring Bobby Vegas from Sons of Anarchy, who Brad Pitt lovingly calls Stinky Man. Gives them the information to all these different books, Canterbury Tales, Dante's Inferno, just basically everything, clearly leading to John Doe.
Yeah, and they end up finding his apartment, and there's this whole chase. There's a fucking chase.
Yeah.
And John Doe almost kills Brad Pitt, has the gun right to his head.
Yeah.
But he chooses not to do it, pulls it back, and Morgan Freeman's character.
Oh, by the way, I want to mention this too, that during that rain scene where he's chasing John Doe, Brad Pitt said he wanted to do the stunt by himself. He ended up slipping in some rain, careened right into the car, tore his wrist open to the point where David Fincher said he even saw bone.
Oh shit.
So they actually had to incorporate that in the story, so that's why Brad Pitt has this sling at that point. Yeah.
Oh well, I mean,
so what they did was they incorporated the crowbar hit before Doe puts the gun to his head. Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
And so they go back up to the apartment. And
we need a warrant, boy. You can't.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman's like, we can't just bust in without reason, without probable cause.
And Brad Pitt kicks down the door.
He kicks down the door because he's a hothead. And they go in, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then Brad Pitt looks at him. He's like, "We got any money left?" And they find a homeless woman to say, to tell some bullshit.
Yeah.
They gave him the probable cause.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you did a good job." She's like, "I did good, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I did a good job. Here's some money. Yeah. Go get something to eat. Get some food."
So they're going through the apartment of John Doe, and he's just got books that he's written, diaries he's written for years and years. There's hands in jars. There's all this different, religious idolatry up on the walls. Such a cool set, by the way. Just the lighting, everything's just perfect. and I do want to mention this because I heard about this years ago, but every single book in that room was filled by the prop department.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yep. So somebody actually sat there with the mind of John Doe, like saying, like, you know, these are the pictures that should go in there. These are the little writings and scribbles that should go in there. Every single book was filled. Not one of them was blank.
Jeez, man, that's nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
And then they see in the bathroom the pictures, and that's when Brad Pitt's character pulls up the picture of him at the top of the stairs, and he's like, "We had him. We had him." He's
pushing like this, like no pictures.
No pictures.
And that's...
He's like, "We had him. He was there." Yeah. You know what I mean? And then this leads to the...
So we just have to get this scene out of the way because it's really important before we get to the other crime scene. So Gwyneth Paltrow has a conversation with Morgan Freeman at a diner, basically like just detailing that, you know, like, I feel very uncomfortable here. I want to go back home, especially due to the fact that I found out that I'm pregnant. And she's asking his advice, and he doesn't feel privy to be able to give that advice because apparently he had forced a partner to have an abortion because he felt the same way about the city, that a child, you know, didn't belong there.
Right.
Yeah.
And he told her, if you decide to get rid of it, don't tell him you were ever pregnant. Don't tell him.
Yep.
Don't tell him.
Yeah.
It'll destroy him. Yeah. And then this ends up leading...
Probably not more than the thing that does happen later on.
Right? And then we get to the next murder scene where you find a young woman in the bed with a picture that's down. She has a phone glued to one hand and a bottle of sleeping pills next.
She committed sewer slide because he cut off her nose and she could not live without being beautiful.
He destroyed her face.
Yeah.
And that was vanity.
Yeah.
And then that led to the next murder scene,
which is
this. I'm gonna let you talk about this one. This one is like,
yeah, this is probably where the misogyny of the movie kicks in.
This one is like, okay, so this one was what, Lust? Yes.
Yes. So basically, they encounter a man who has. I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible.
He has
it's a jagged, sharp dildo sword thing that's attached to his penis.
It's a sword attachment.
Yes. And he was forced to fornicate with a woman with this thing on. And it just, you know, nothing is ever really shown.
No.
But the way that it's detailed in his like conversation.
And can we say this guy's acting is...
Well, he's in a bunch of stuff.
Like, this guy is good. He's really freaking good. Like, the way, like, he was like expressing, like he like the way he was just acting.
Well, I can't remember the character actor's name, but you know, one of the biggest Se7en knockoffs was the Bone Collector, and he was the killer.
Yeah,
remember? And unfortunately the porn shop owner, he played in The Crow and thought he had killed Brandon Lee for his entire life. So that's why you've only seen him in a couple things and
done. Yeah,
and done.
Yep. Now we're at the spot where they're coming
back to the precinct, right?
To the precinct.
They're just clueless.
And John Doe walks in.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm the one you're looking for.
You got me.
I'm the one you're looking for.
I want to mention this, you know, like Kevin Spacey had been in The Usual Suspects. There's a bunch of movies he had been in before this that he was, you know, known enough. He basically convinced the studio, you're going to take my name off the playbill when it comes to the cast and on the posters and stuff, because it'll be a bigger reveal if I show up. And, you know, like if they don't do it, then I don't do the part. That's it. It's plain simple. So that's why he was able to get that done. And his reveal is incredible. There's no better way to say it. It's absolutely incredible. You know, because you've seen Spacey before and other stuff. You know he's a great actor, but like just the way he just, you know, like gives himself up is just such a, you know, like does something just incredible in terms of the twist of the story. You know, there's no capture. It's just like, hey man, you got me. I'm
You got
here.
me.
Here I
Yeah,
am.
he walks right in and he hands himself to them on a silver platter.
Yep.
And then he says, "There's two more murders.
Yep.
There's two more bodies.
Envy and wrath.
Envy and wrath."
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, they're
preparing.
talking to the lawyer.
Mhm.
The lawyer's being a dick.
Yeah.
And then that's when they realize that the only way they're going to be able to do this is be like, okay, all right, fine, we'll do this. So they got him in the back of the cop car. They're driving out into the desert.
He's not, he's completely there, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, he's not insane.
Mm-mm.
He knows exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it.
Right.
He they say, like, Brad Pitt's character keeps saying, "You're crazy, you're insane." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "No, I'm not."
So basically what they're doing is they're setting up for this final situation where they have to go out into the middle of nowhere where there's a bunch of power lines that's just like, just dust and,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just, like they're supposed to, they think they're like going to find the last two bodies. They don't know the whole situation that's going on. So they're setting up, they're putting the, like the mics on themselves, they're getting in the car, taking John Doe to this area. There's helicopters flying, and it's just really, really tense. And Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman are in the front of the car. They're having a conversation with John Doe. And basically Brad Pitt's like, hey, nobody's going to remember you. You're a fucking t-shirt at best, and this and that. Mm-hmm. And John Doe's just trying to describe, like, look, what I've done here will be studied forever and ever. And it'll be, like, loved and appreciated and educated and all this stuff. And he's not wrong. We have Ed Gein on Netflix right now, right?
Right.
Even fictional characters like Dexter Morgan or Hannibal Lecter. Like, these are beloved in the pantheon of entertainment. Mm-hmm. So if John Doe, like, there was a guy who really was to do this, he'd be infamous forever. There's no question about it. He'd be known forever. And
then he starts going on about, he's like, I really envy you. Mm-hmm. I really admire you.
Yeah.
I really admire you. He keeps saying, I really admire you. And then...
and he has justification for everything. Like, there's like some sort of religious justification. One of the women was a disease-spreading whore. All these people, one guy was just a horrible person who, touched children. Everything I did was, mm-hmm. There was some sort of gravitas to it. It wasn't like, I just picked some random person off the street.
Right.
And
then he so they're taking a walk, so they get out of the car, they're walking, and he says, it's coming,
this poor FedEx guy.
And then there's like this, like, I don't know if it's FedEx, but it's a delivery driver guy.
He's a delivery driver guy. He's getting guns pointed at his head and stuff. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm just here to drop off this box, dude.
So Brad Pitt's character stays with John Doe, and Morgan Freeman's character is obviously going up to the truck.
You can take that box off your head.
No, it's important now.
Okay.
It's important now. Obviously, there's a box. Mm-hmm. And then Morgan Freeman sends the guy off.
I fucking hate how this part's been memed to death. And everybody just makes fun of it. And it's there's so much meat to it. Like, why are we making fun of this?
Oh, God. Okay.
Is it just the way that he said it or something?
Yeah.
I guess.
It is. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Okay, anyways. Obviously, they're trying to wait for the bomb squad, and then Morgan Freeman's like, fuck it. He pulls out his switchblade, and he opens it, and then he sees what's in the box, and then he looks at Brad Pitt, and he's like, Don't you dare. Don't look at the box. Don't look at the box. And he's like, what's in the box? What's in the box? Yeah. In the meantime, John Doe's character is saying,
he's like, I envy you.
I really admire you.
Yeah.
He's like, are you hearing me? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to tell you that I'm envious.
Yeah.
I paid a little visit to your wife because I was envious of your life. Mm-hmm. I tried to play happy family with her. Obviously, it didn't work out.
What does that mean?
So I had to take...
Do you think he tried to assault her or something?
I don't know. So I had to take a trophy, and I took her pretty little head.
Yeah.
At that moment,
Yeah.
he's like, and then he looks at him. He said, "Become wrath.
Yeah.
Finish me."
And originally they were going to fade to black on this moment, which is so stupid.
No.
So, like Somerset is trying to convince Mills, like, don't do it. Like,
if you do it,
I know
he
you want to
wins.
do it. If you do it, he wins. You know what I mean? And yeah, he has all the justification in the world to
He
pop a cap in this
he
guy.
wins.
Like,
cut his wife's head off and delivered it in a box.
Absolutely.
So
but he does.
He was Envy. And then, obviously there's a few minutes where he's just like, he's breaking down. He's breaking
But
down.
it's not a trick. I think he actually felt this way. I think he actually, when he met Gwyneth Paltrow's character, when he met Tracy, he did feel envy for real.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing, where it's just like, I sinned now. You need to take me out. That's my punishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Brad Pitt's character shoots him in the head.
Sure.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Empties the clip on him.
Yep.
And then they put him in the back of the cop car, and they're like, take care of him. They're like, we will. And that was it. The movie's done.
Well, Morgan Freeman says something about Hemingway, in regards to a quote where, like, the world's worth fighting for. He goes, I believe in the second part. And I think the whole thing with that is that even though he was willing to just kind of let it all go, I think he realizes, I got to stay on the force.
Yeah.
I got to be a force for good. I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to continue my fight.
Yes,
this is not
working.
Gonna, yeah. And I guess Brad Pitt goes to jail. I don't think so.
I don't think so. They probably put him in a mental institute. I mean, he's going to need to, like he just lost his wife, and he found out his wife was pregnant.
Right, and then that was the other thing we should mention too. He didn't know, and that's why Kevin Spacey goes, "Oh, he didn't know." Yeah, he's. Oof.
That's what really set him over.
Yeah,
that's when he got shot.
So yeah, that's 7. It's dark, man.
It's really dark.
It's real bleak. And for good reason. I think that's what makes it a perfect movie. If they had gone and done the things that they wanted to do, like he just becomes like this action hero and saves his wife, and wouldn't have worked.
No.
And of course, this was Fincher's second movie, and him and Pitt had worked together before. Again, Zodiac. Fincher's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Right.
And I think this is the movie that really solidified it for him.
I can't see you.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right, you can take this thing off your head.
All right, well.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Baby, I just want to say this. We have been married for over 2 years and been professional partners at this juncture for almost a year. Mm-hmm. And I just want to tell you that I absolutely adore working with you. You are not only my best friend, but this is one of the greatest team ups I've ever had, and I've worked with some pretty big people, but this is the best. And
aww, thank you.
And I hope that we continue this journey together in life and with the show. And with that, you want to go to tell everybody what we're doing next week?
Yeah, I do. Actually, we are going to be talking about a sensational movie. Mm-hmm. Called Jennifer's Body.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't care what anybody else says. This is hands down a really good movie.
I never cared.
Rob always stood up for this movie. But yes.
Since the beginning, since its inception, I've always stood up for this movie.
Yeah.
I used to wear Jennifer's Body t-shirts to clubs and stuff and get laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this movie rocks. There's something wrong with you. I don't care.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie, and I love that it's being reevaluated now. People are really starting to understand it, and I think for the most part, it wasn't marketed towards women at the time, and now a lot more young women are seeing it, and it is an important movie.
It is. It's about It's about sacrifice and feminine power
and identity and sexual,
awakening.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's great. So yeah, Jennifer's Body next week.
Yes.
And with that, we will scare you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Later, dudes. Bye.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Till Death Do a Scream. I'm, of course, Rob, and this is my lovely infected wife, Mayhem Mel.